conference room downstairs, and it's like a little lounge room. It's lovely.
Mm-hmm. The Henriette's over here in the background. If there's any problems, we've got Michelle to look after you.
Thank God we have someone who looks after you.
And you go to B&Co. We see you up at B&Co.
You do. We bop along. It's a great collaborative community event, somewhere to be, somewhere to connect. And, you know, we work alongside other stakeholders in the community, such as Peppercorn Transport, NDIS, Transition to Work. The young kids there making fabulous coffees, teaching them some hospitality and some skills they can go forward with. And then there's Michelle Hookham, who's a mental health nurse and a homeopath, and Alison Manhayek, who's also a psychotherapist and a counsellor and a chiropractor, and myself.
We've had both of those ladies on air in Harmony.
Yeah.
And tell me, the services that you offer with Pink Fins.
Pink Fins. I have been working with and alongside Pink Fins for about 5 years now. Pink Fins are a Hawkesbury community charity supporting women and their families diagnosed with cancer, the women diagnosed with cancer and their families. So we for my services, the women who come to me through the support group, I help them through diagnosis and treatment, and sometimes to passing, so and their families as well. We've got a race day coming up on the 12th of September, which is a big fundraiser. They have 2 fundraisers a year.
That's at the Hawkesbury.
It is, yeah.
At the Hawkesbury Race Club.
It is, yep. Jodie Moore was the founder of the charity, and she has an amazing team with Maria Miller, Kim Burton, and Emma Jane Garrow, who's also a counsellor, political counsellor with, if that's the right word to say, with Hawkesbury Shire Council. So, I co-locate, so I'm downstairs, they're upstairs, and it's been great. I got involved with them because of a dear friend who was diagnosed with breast cancer, and her name was Karen McLean, and she was a local identity here in Richmond, and she had a beauty salon, and sadly Karen left us in February of this year, and she battled long and hard, but her legacy will always live on, and it's been a pretty tough time for her family and her friends, my friends as well. So, but that's how I got involved with Pink Fins, and I'll ever be grateful to my dear friend Karen. So,
how do you hold yourself together with seeing all these cases? I don't think I could.
It's something I suppose not everybody can do. I see working with Karen, it's different because she was my friend. With the other ladies that I work with, you compartmentalise, and you're there to help them through their journey, and it's not my job for them to support me if I'm sad.
Mm-hmm.
And so if I become sad and they need to soothe me, then that's not really me doing my job. My job is to give them strategies and support and ways of being in the world whereby they can better cope with the enormity of their diagnosis, how it impacts their family, how it impacts everything, their income, their ability to get around. Some of them are so besieged with pain, body pain, that it's hard to do anything. So Pink Fins will help them with housework, they'll help them with meals in those dire times. You can't drive, can't be the parent they want to be to their children, can't be the wife to their husband or their partner that they want to be. It's a very trying time, and I love being able to support these people and see them better able to cope with what's been placed upon them. My job is as a therapist is to get them in a better headspace,
right,
so to speak. So when you are stressed, it's just so overwhelming. When your life is at risk, it's so all-encompassing, and to bring that down to this moment and go, okay, what are we going to do in this moment? How am I going to get through this next minute, this next 5 minutes, just break it down. Give them strategies to try and calm their nervous system down, and that puts them in a better place to cope with chemo and radiation and all the other stuff that goes with it in terms of even just getting to chemo and radiation, or surgery or whatever it might be. But that's my job. That's to help them as a therapist to be able to better cope with these overwhelming life situations.
And who supports Pink Fins?
Our community, and our community does an amazing job with them.
The government doesn't support them?
No, not that I know of.
So that if people want to support Pink Fins, where do they find them?
They find them at www.pinkfins.com.au. We have a website, and there are telephone contact and email contact details. There's a donation place on there on the website. Forgive me for not using the right terminology. There's a drop-down button where you can donate. There's also information about what Pink Fins does, what Jodie and the girls have created.
Isn't this a great cause? I never knew anything about this.
Let's get it out there more then. So it's an amazing, the support they give women and their families in the Hawkesbury is nothing short of phenomenal. So nothing short of phenomenal. They just, it's life-changing for some of these ladies to get help, financial help sometimes. As I said, other ways of helping as well. And we have, notwithstanding that once a month we have a support group, so the ladies who have been impacted by cancer or have been diagnosed, they can come to the support group and talk to like-minded women. And, you know, the girls get in regular speakers and activities and whatnot. Also, once a quarter they do a dinner for those that can't get to the monthly support meeting. So they do a dinner. Easy Lane was the last one, and that was last week. So they support the community in many different and varied ways, and what they do supports my own personal philanthropic ethos, which is to give back as much as I can. I think as humans, this is our village, this is our community, this is something I bang on about a fair bit. This is our tribe, and this is where we live, and we need to support our tribe, our community, our village. The more we do that, the more we feel part of it, and the more we give, the better we feel as humans anyway. So,
is there a telephone number with Pink Fins? Or it's just
on the website? On the website there's contact details. So
okay, and the website again is
www.pinkfins.com.au.
Tell me, Michelle, where does the fins come from? Because I've got a fisherman over here who's got his own fishing show. Well, it's part of his sports show. And I rib him about it. I say, I go to the fish and chip shop. That's where I go. He's probably going to ask you about Pink Fins.
Well, it's not quite as fishy.
Sounds like a red emperor.
It's not quite as fishy as that. I would suggest that you get Jodie Moore in to have a chat about how her foundation, this charity, was created. My understanding of how Pink Fins was created is Jodie is, well, she's, again, the most phenomenal human being. She was diagnosed with breast cancer 10 years ago, but she's also a triathlete, and she used to train, and forgive me, Jodie, if I get this wrong, she used to train out at Ebenezer in a pool, which is actually called Fins Swim School.
Oh, okay.
And so in tribute to Pink being for women's or then breast cancer, because it used to be a breast cancer charity, now it's women's cancer. So they called it Pink Fins, and it evolved from there.
That's where it came from.
That's where it came from. So, Jodie, I hope I
You
got
didn't
that
know
correct.
that, Alan, the Angry Ant?
No, I did not.
You know they call him the Angry Ant.
I don't believe it for a minute. Not this
He's a very
beautiful
angry
warm
ant.
human next to me. No.
You know why? I'll just tell you why. I was a soccer referee.
Yes.
I used to do the Premier League around Penrith, all over the place.
Yep.
Granville as well. I don't like players coming into my face, and I get angry. That's why I was called the Angry Ant.
Oh, do you need some help with that?
Yeah, we'll send him along. I've always thought about he needs a bit of therapy, you know.
I like to tell people when they come to see me, I'm almost the anti-therapist, because I don't want to be known as a counsellor or a therapist or any of those labels. Come in and sit down in what I've created, the space I've created. I've got aromatherapy and lovely music always going in the background. Relaxation music. And
every time we see you, you're smiling.
I know.
Yeah. At B&Co.
Life's good.
Yeah, the belle of the ball.
Every day is a good day. Today's just a different version of good. So, but yeah, people come in and it's just a conversation. So I'm primarily a narrative therapist that's passionate about neuroscience. So narrative therapy is about your story. And so when people come in, I don't want to sit on the other side of a desk and have it a clinical process. It's a natural, organic process whereby I help people. I don't fix people. I give people the tools to be able to better cope with their position in life and to change their mindset, change their position. A great fellow once said, Wayne Dyer said, when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. Mm-hmm. And so it's about how you see the world, how you process the world. And two people can have twins can have the same DNA and have two entirely different perspectives on how they process their daily life. And I could bang on about that forever, but I won't, because I seriously love what I do. I love what I do, and it's a joy.
You've grown to the microphone.
Have I?
Yeah, you really have.
I've never, ever. I confess, absolutely confess that I, over the years, and I'm only 21, so I think I'm doing very well for a 21-year-old. But over the years, the 3.5 decades I've been in health, I've managed. I managed out at the RAF base for a time, about 5 years, and I was terrified. Such a deep terror, unjust, of microphones, and I haven't spoken into a microphone until my grandmother's funeral in July, and my uncle said, you just held a microphone, and I didn't go weak at the knees, which is that huge adrenaline response.
Especially
that you get
at that time.
Yeah, and we ran her celebration of life afterwards together, and I am the eldest of 20 grandchildren, and the favourite, of course, and my uncle and I are very close. He's not much older than me. He's the youngest of her children, and we ran it very well, and he just couldn't believe, I couldn't believe that, I don't know, the fear seems to have gone somewhere, so I'm going all right, I think.
And you'll be at B&Co with us. We'll be there on next Thursday as well.
Yay.
Yeah, we're down there, and we'll be there on Thursday.
Getting back to
tomorrow.
Yeah,
we'll be there.
Yeah,
tomorrow. Let's take a short break and come back.
The hunt is on for the best trophy award specialists. On your trophy safari, try Arnold Trophies. Looking for individual, corporate, sports, school, leisure, or a promotional range of awards? Arnold has an extensive range to select from. Honour boards, plaques, shields, cups, medals, badges and ribbons. Arnold Trophies Showroom, corner Mulgoa and Jamison Roads, Penrith. Our sponsor, Arnold Trophies, open weekdays to 5 p.m, Saturday to midday. Phone Mary on 4721 3871. That's 4721 3871.
Food grown and produced in and around the Hawkesbury region is some of the finest in the country. You've probably heard stories from local growers about how food from the region often travels thousands of kilometres to distribution centres around the country, only to end up back at one of the region's supermarkets. What if there was a way to cut out this unnecessary cartage? Remove the middleman, source fresh produce, pay less for your food, and help local farmers earn a decent return? Well, there is. The Richmond Good Food Market is a place for local farmers and quality food producers to showcase their wares and interact with the community. Now, the markets take place each Saturday, 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. at Richmond Park. We're talking to Michelle Fitzgerald.
So getting back to B&Co, which is that wonderful community collaborative.
Isn't it wonderful?
Oh, it's fantastic.
Michelle, let's remind everyone right now about B&Co.
How would you like a free coffee and a chat? Then head on down to B&Co tomorrow at 9:30 a.m. You'll find the B&Co pop-up at the Pepper Tree and Rose Garden, 300 George Street, Windsor, right in front of the De Rubbin Centre. Harmony FM will be there with an outside broadcast for a collaborative community event promoting connection, support and well-being. Harmony Harmony FM is pleased to be assisting these local organisations. Rotary, the New South Wales Nepean Blue Mountains Local Health. Uniting, Hawkesbury City Council, Peppercorn Services, Michelle Hookham Mental Health and Homeopathy, the Salvation Army, Michelle Fitzgerald Psychotherapy Counselling Services, St John of God Healthcare, Get Well Adjusted Chiropractic and Counselling, Suicide Prevention and Support Western Sydney, Transition to Work, an Australian Government initiative, and the Hawkesbury District Health Service. Come on down and meet the team from Harmony FM and say hi at the Community Outside broadcast tomorrow 9:30am from B&Co at the Pepper Tree and Rose Garden, 300 George Street, Windsor, right in front of the Durrubbin Centre. Don't forget, the coffee's free and so is the chat. This is Harmony FM, keeping our community informed.
The kind of things that happen with this, and I love our community. I think too often people look at, they say, Windsor's a bad place, there's lots of bad things happening. And there may well be, but there's a lot of really good things happening. Emma Jane Garrow has been putting on her professional profile on Facebook all the fabulous murals that are being painted down the streets. You may have seen them in Windsor. All the community works and how our community is growing and being. And those people in our community that are isolated and don't have anybody to have a coffee with or can't afford to go to a therapist or whatever. We had a group of 11 elderly people come from a local facility last Thursday, and I was in my element. I think our elderly are the most rich with stories, rich with life, and these are people that have, are 80 or 90 or sometimes approaching 100. They've been here on this earth for decades and decades and seen the evolution of so much and have amazing, thick, rich stories to tell. And too often we walk along in our daily lives and discount the value of our elderly. And so to have those wonderful people there they're just chatting in the sun, having a lovely cup of coffee or tea and telling stories, and that's how it should be.
It's amazing, and all that free time that people give. And let's just hope the funding keeps up. They keep the funding up for that as well.
Yeah, I do too. My role and Michelle's and Alison's role is to we find ourselves perhaps with one person or two or three people, however it works out. And there are some people that just drift on by and say, I didn't know this was here. What is this about? And so that starts that conversation, starts that dialogue.
And it's getting bigger every week.
Yeah. One lady said to me, Michelle, I just want to let you know that I stopped taking my antipsychotic medication however many days ago. And I said, oh, really, how are you feeling? And she said, I'm a bit foggy. And I said, what support have you got going? So in that time I spent with her, I got her to call a GP, to call her own therapist, and to make sure that she was supported, because she had decided that she didn't want to do what she was doing. She wanted to live life differently. I said, that's okay, but you need support to do that. And so she was very grateful. Another lady who just sailed on by was having a lot of difficulty at home with her husband, who is an alcoholic and doesn't leave the house. And so I was able to access services for her, give her numbers, get her in a better position, and actually get some assessments for him. And she now sails on by. She goes, now I've been on a bus trip. I can leave him for a few hours now. I've just been to the library and I'm doing this and I'm doing that. I've just got this other little thing that I want to get you some advice about. So we'll sort out that little thing, and off she goes again, and she comes back next fortnight. It is such a joy, just that little drop in. She's got no one. She's got no one except her alcoholic husband.
And there's many stories. Many stories there. And people should get down there tomorrow morning.
Yeah, and it's lovely. It's lovely to sit underneath that peppercorn tree.
Maybe we move right up under the peppercorn tree now.
That would be awesome.
Yeah.
And because I love the music, as you know. So.
So if they get down there tomorrow, free chat, free coffee.
Free coffee, free tea, homemade goodies. Michelle and I generally make made wares, and it's just lovely.
Isn't it? Now, I play oldies music on my show.
You know I love the oldies.
Oldies. And give me an oldie. I want to play your song.
Give you one?
Yeah, give me one. An oldie.
do you know what? Yesterday was Father's Day.
Right.
And
You want me to play father-in-law?
no. There was a Johnny Cash song that came on last night, and my stepfather passed away 6 years ago, so it was in honour of him, actually. So it was called, of course, it's Ring of Fire.
The Ring of Fire.
Yeah.
Jose Feliciano sang that as well.
Yeah, and the other one that he sung, and my son sung this in his hospital room before he died. He did a cover of Hurt, which was, who was the band? My son will not be happy with me remembering. It was a rock band that had this song called Hurt, and Johnny Cash did a cover of it. And this rock band said, we are never singing that song again in honour of Johnny Cash, because he sung it so well. Have a listen to it. So I've usually got a pretty good music repertoire, but at this point I've just gone blank. But
thanks for coming in today, and we'll catch up with you tomorrow down at B&Co. But you introduced that song.
So folks, here we have Johnny Cash singing his classic song, Ring of Fire.